Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the annual meeting of Medway Council, which is being live streamed via the Council's website. I would like to welcome our guests to the meeting tonight, including the families and friends of the Mayor-elect and the Deputy Mayor-elect. I would also like to welcome everyone who is watching online. Medway Interfaith Action has been supporting the Mayoralty the last 2 years, and Reverend Canon Gordon Giles from Rochester Cathedral will now say prayers. Gordon?
I'm sure you'll all agree that Marion's year as mayor has been a splendid one, supported by Lou and the boys. 405 events, I think we learnt and worked out today. Exactly, 405 events. So at this final council meeting, when he hands over, we gather to give thanks for all that has been achieved, attended, and aided. Let us recall how all those who have helped and been helped this past year, and all those who are still in need, all who are enduring poverty, hardship, sickness, or grief. And further afield, we think of those enduring war, and we pray especially for all of our Ukrainian refugees in Medway, and for all who have loved ones in the Middle East or in other countries where there is conflict or danger or disaster. And so we pray for the peace and well-being of all nations, peoples, and lands. And as we gather here this evening, we pray for Marion and Lou and their family, and for all of us who have been called to serve our borough, our community, and our region in this council and elsewhere. May we always lead by example with integrity, compassion, wisdom, and courage, remembering always the example of the Good Shepherd who came not to be served, but to serve. So we pray. O God, who in Jesus Christ came to us as Good Shepherd of our souls, leading your people to pastures green and wholesome, bless our gathering this evening with your grace and mercy, that all we who seek to serve the people of Medway may be inspired by faith, hope, and love, and that our service may be successful and acceptable in your sight, now and always. Amen.
Thank you, Gordon. Moving now to the election of mayor and appointment of deputy mayor. I call upon Councillor Etheridge to make a proposal for the election of mayor for the 2025-2026 municipal year. Councillor Etheridge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members, guests and people viewing online, welcome to this important element of the Council's government structure. The role is often demanding and frequently governed by complicated rules, regulations, and official procedures. The public profile accorded to the office provides little room for error. And while the powers of the civic mayor may have diminished over the years, the role has retained its importance in the history and cultural heritage of our country. The mayor is often seen as a symbol of an open society, as the choice of civic head is no longer restricted to an elite group within the population. The first citizen can come from any class, gender, or ethnic background, and has a key democratic role to play. After being chosen and appointed by fellow councillors, he or she must act as a politically impartial chairman of the council, making sure that proper conduct takes place in the council chamber during meetings. The civic mayor also has a duty and a privilege to support local initiatives aimed at providing benefit to the council area and its diverse communities. In this role, the mayor can speak and act in multiple capacities as ambassador, facilitator, promoter and encourager. This may involve highlighting relevant causes and assisting members of the local community to receive the recognition they deserve. However, it is probably the mayor's ceremonial role that most people are familiar with. Mayors are frequently invited to attend events in the community, such as openings and fundraising events organised by voluntary and charitable organisations. Fundraising events are held for charities that are chosen by the new mayor at the start of the civic year. All in all, it is potentially a busy year for any mayoral candidate who speaks for the whole town or city and giving it an identity. The mayor is also Admiral of the River, which was instituted by a 1446 charter, giving him jurisdiction over the river from Hawkwood Burham to Sheerness. To this end, the Rochester Civic Regalia contains a small silver ore dated 1723 and a large silver ore dated 1478. The mayor has borne the title of Constable of Rochester Castle since the corporation leased the castle and the grounds from the Earl of Jersey in June 1870. In this connection, the regalia contains a silver gilt sword with the carved and pierced city arms. Members, I have attempted to encapsulate the heritage that the Mayor of Medway inherits within their already recognised duties. Therefore, we have a responsibility to the people of Medway to ensure that from the Conservative Party, any nomination for this esteemed role is given to the individual that captures the qualities, gravitas and respect that this role deserves. Therefore, I'm pleased to present Councillor Trevor Clark, who has been described as a true gentleman, to you as our nomination. Originally from London, he has lived in and around Medway for nearly 60 years. He attended Holcombe Grammar School, or Chatham Tech as it was then known, and like many in our towns, has been a London commuter ever since, working for a series of international banks, most latterly Standard Chartered Bank. Married to his teenage sweetheart Mandy, a primary school teacher, they have 3 grown-up children. Councillor Clark was first elected to Medway Council in election in May 2008 and has since been re-elected a further 4 times. He has held numerous chairmanships and for 15 years was the chairman of Medway Standing Advisory Council on Religious Education. He has a vast range of political knowledge, having been variously the chairman, president and election agent for the Rochester and Strood Constituency Association and is a well-known figure amongst a majority of members. Councillor Clark fully appreciates and understands the historical background of the role. He is principled, has the required gravitas, integrity, and more importantly, the respect of both elected members and officers. This is shown in his ability to be constructive and civil, rather than confrontational and argumentative, which he has demonstrated in the past through his numerous chairmanships. Therefore, I have no hesitation in nominating Councillor Trevor Clark for the position of Mayor of Medway for the municipal year 2025-2026 on behalf of the Conservative Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Etheridge. I call upon Councillor Fern to support the nomination. Councillor Fern? Supported. Thank you. Councillor Clark has been duly... Is the nomination agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Forgot that bit. Councillor Clark, you have been duly elected as mayor. I now... I now call upon Councillor Perfect to propose a nomination for Deputy Mayor for the 2025-2026 municipal year. Councillor Perfect.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And can I start firstly by thanking you on behalf of the Opposition Conservative Group and thanking you and the Mayoress, Councillor Nestorova and the Deputy Mayor and the Deputy Mayor's consorts for your leadership and steadfast role at the Chaplain's just outlined over the past 12 months, but obviously 2 years in the case of you as a year of deputy. Mr Mayor, I have the privilege of nominating my good friend and ward colleague, Councillor Spring, to be the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Spring is a dad, a father, a dedicated public servant, community leader, and of course, an experienced legal professional. Not only does he serve the great people of Rainham North, but since moving to Medway from Essex with his wonderful wife Sarah in September 2001, has served his community as chairman of fundraising for the Oliver Fisher Trust, trustee of a number of local theatres, and as a volunteer rugby coach. In his professional life, Councillor Spring leads a dynamic and multicultural team of lawyers, both here in the United Kingdom and also in India, which I know he often describes as his second home. Wayne has trained and developed countless legal professionals and improved life chances for hundreds of young people across both countries and has won national awards for his work. But Councillor Spring's most important job, Mr Mayor, as always, as he'll always acknowledge, is being the ultimate loving father to Fionn and Isaac, who are here, and I know how excited they are to support Councillor Spring and Mrs Spring, the Deputy Mayoress-elect, in their new duties over the forthcoming 12 months. I know the whole family, including Wayne's mother, is also here, will be on that journey together with him, serving our residents over the forthcoming months ahead. I know Councillor Spring will embody the aims and values of Medway and seek to move forward together as he undertakes his duties, and I'm proud to nominate him as the Deputy Mayor of Medway. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Perfect. I call upon Councillor Tijan to support the nomination.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Is it supported?
Yes, support.
Thank you. Is the nomination agreed? Agreed. Councillor Spring, you have been duly elected, appointed as Deputy Mayor. Councillors Clark and Spring, would you please accompany the Deputy Mayor, me and our partners, plus the Chief Executive and Monitor Officer as we leave the hall with Civic and Ceremonial Officer.
Please be upstanding for the new worshipful Mayor of Medway, Councillor Trevor Clark.
Thank you. Members of the Senate, please.
Mr. Mayor, I ask you to make the necessary declaration and to sign this declaration of acceptance of office.
I, Trevor Clark, having been elected to the office of Mayor for the Borough of Medway, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Mr. Mayor, if you would like to sign. Mr. Mayor, do you accept this sword as a symbol of your office as Constable of Rochester Castle?
I accept.
And Mr. Mayor, do you accept this silver oar as a symbol of your office as Admiral of the Water of Medway from Sheerness to Hawkwood?
I accept.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I ask you to make the necessary declaration and to sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office.
I, Wayne Spring, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Medway, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, if you'd like to sign, please.
Thanks, sir.
That's it. Thank you, Dan. I would now like to invite the new Mayor to address the Council.
Thank you, Chief Executive. As every incumbent of this seat says, it is an honour and a privilege to be asked to serve as your Mayor. And you're even more aware of it as you stand here looking out at you wonderful people and indeed through the cameras to the many friends, relatives, colleagues and ward residents who are watching this meeting online. Mr. Chief Executive, we are hoping for a record viewing figure tonight. May I begin this short speech with gratitude. Thank you, Councillor Maple and your group, for honouring your commitment to reinstate the point system. Mind you, when we saw the by-election results in February, we did wonder if you would have a wobble on that one. We are very, very grateful for you and to your colleagues for that action. Thank you to my Conservative group. Councillor Etheridge has spoken of the esteem we hold the office of mayoralty in, and I thank you, colleagues, for entrusting me with what may perhaps be the last Conservative holder of the Medway mayoralty, if we are done away with through the LGR. And thank you too to my predecessors, Councillor Nesterov, Councillor Gurung, for the application and dedication you have both shown to this office and the example you have set. Councillor Spring and I hope to follow on in the same vein. Now, I have sat through about 16 past mayoral acceptance speeches, and one is always intrigued by the journey each mayor has made to this seat. Councillor Gurung, you literally came over 4,400 miles. Councillor Nesterov, who told us last year you came some 1,700 miles with a 3,000-mile detour to the US on the way. I'm afraid my journey is a bit more modest, just 30 miles from Bermondsey down the old Kent Road. But what brought my family and my predecessors' families here to Medway? Simply, it was hope and aspiration. Families in search of better homes, better schools, better jobs, their own gardens, clean air. There are some who may denigrate where we live, but Medway is a great place full of these life-changing opportunities. That hope and aspiration is a theme Councillor Spring and I want for our year of office. Having grown up in Medway, as Councillor Etheridge said, I attended what was then Chatham Tech, but we now more grandly call it Holcombe Grammar. And whilst there, I experienced two of the best things that have ever happened to me, becoming a Christian in my final year, meeting my wife. Like many school leavers in the 80s, I then took a London job, and 41 years later, still commute to this day. New mayors are asked to give in this short speech, Mr. Chief Executive, an indication of how they see their mayoral year will go and how they will serve the people and our borough. For me, I go back to the night when I was first elected to this council, 8th of May 2008, in the Rochester South and Horsted by-election, over in the old Porter and Aveling offices. Who remembers those? I had no previous political experience prior to a very last-minute selection and Wellbeing campaign. At the count, there came a point where, as you nervously watched the ballot papers pile up in your box, you knew you were going to win. I am sure all of you members well remember the first time that happened to you. For some reason, though, Mr. Chief Executive, it seems then to take hours from that point before you declare the results. But in those hours of relative stillness, we know our lives will change. And we ask ourselves, what type of councillor do we want to be? What came to mind for me were some words from the book of Micah in the Old Testament. In answer to the question, what does the Lord require of you? The prophet answered, to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. That is the type of attitude I've tried to maintain these past 17 years as a ward councillor, and which I will try to bring to my mayoralty for this coming year. The mayoralty is a team. I'm delighted to have Councillor Spring as the Deputy Mayor, and we aim to work together in the service of this borough. My wife Mandy will be the Mayoress, with assistance from former Mayoress and ex-councillor, and indeed friend to many in this room, Mrs. Sylvia Griffin. Welcome back, Sylv. The Deputy Mayoress will be Mrs. Sarah Spring. Sadly, because of a serious accident, Sarah cannot be with us tonight, but I know you're watching, and we all send you our best. Sarah will be assisted in the role by Miss Fionn Spring. For the Mayor's charities, I have selected two, Caring Hands in the Community and Slide Away. As hopefully many of us know, Caring Hands is a Christian day centre for those who are homeless or insecurely housed, provides support, advice, facilities and meals, and life-changing opportunities. Slideway works with parents, carers, schools and other professionals to help provide bereavement support to children and young people in Medway, Kent. Why these two? As I've intimated, this year for me is about hope, and those two charities embody that, and Slideway's care for the most vulnerable children dealing with such dreadful trauma fits so well with our child-friendly Medway ambition. I'm pleased to welcome Tom and Marty from Caring Hands and Laura and Bonnie from Slideway with us tonight. Please, members, do take a moment to say hi at the end over refreshments. Take away their literature and contacts. Undoubtedly, there will be residents within your wards who could be helped by these folk. We have a challenging year ahead of us, members. We will be required to sit through 2 full extra council meetings this year. And Mr. Chief Executive, do members get overtime? And as we literally look at shaping the future of Medway through the local plan next month, and more worryingly, the local government reorganisation in November, which may see us cease to exist in our present format. There is a great deal of responsibility upon this chamber to deliver these items well, and I do hope we can work collegiately for the benefit of all our residents. Once again, members, thank you for this amazing opportunity that you have given me to serve this great borough. Councillor Spring and I are very much looking forward to what we can do this year. And a thank you again to family, friends and guests who have joined us here in person, including Councillor Spring's mother, or who are watching online, including my dear mum, to witness this mayor-making. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Now I call upon Councillor Brown to propose a vote of thanks to Councillor Nesterov in relation to the 2024 to 25 mayoral year. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a proud immigrant, I'm delighted to actually propose this vote of thanks for Councillor Nesterov, who's also a proud immigrant, as it's Councillor Goering, who came all those miles to join us and take the role of mayor. Councillor Etheridge very kindly outlined all the qualities required and gave us a little history lesson in some of the accoutrements that go with the role. But what I'd like to talk about is actually what Councillor Nesterov and everybody else who held that role in the last 2 years, and the deputy roles. They brought the hope that I believe, Mr. Mayor, you and your deputy are wishing to continue from Medway. They brought about a spirit of cooperation, friendship, and fraternity. They did their best to try and make sure that we have more in common than divides us. Unfortunately, that didn't always appear possible in some of the things that Councillor Nesterov had to deal with in this chamber, not least when we had to deal with procedural matters that went beyond the boundaries, and we had to deal with some stuff during the budget that actually makes our vote of thanks to the staff seem a little hypocritical from some people. But the one thing that I'd like to compliment Councillor Nesterov on, and the incoming mayor, is this whole idea about hope. But the other thing is, there isn't just hope that there's been delivery. 405 events, and one of them in my ward. I'm very proud of that. And I know that my residents are as well. But from the variety of things, right down to celebrating the life of a lady who's 102. That lady saw the Second World War. And we just celebrated VE Day, and that was really well attended, a little hypocritically by some, but anyway, very well attended, but also hugely well led by Councillor Nesterov. And The other thing that's really important to us, and to me personally, is our commitment to the military family. I come from a military family. My grandfather served here at Chatham. That might not be something that matters to some in this room, but it matters to us. And I've also had the privilege of having uncles who served in the Second World War, one of whom went down with the Gloucester, but he was one of the 49 survivors. So we have lots to be thankful for. And I have personally lots to be thankful for. Councillor Nestorov is a member, is my ward councillor, or one of my 3 great ward councillors. So I'm sure he's looking forward to getting back to his ward work. But let's celebrate those 405 events, all the people that he brought together. And let us never forget that actually we're here to serve the people, not to look for systems to support our casework, not to drive division, and certainly not to demonize those who join us from other places, and certainly not to demonize the poor. And I will, before some bright spark mentions it, will mention the winter fuel loans. That gave this organisation, the proud Medway Council, the opportunity to make sure that lots and lots of people who were entitled to benefit of other kinds of benefits were able to apply for it, had assistance, and the great officers in this council, who will be having a vote of thanks from the majority of us, and none of us looking to cut their wages, tonight, want to thank Councillor Nestorov as well. The big problem we have is we need to recognise the history in which that great office is built. It is built on unity, hope, and a very outreach look, not an inward look. So Councillor Nestorov managed to do all that, and Councillor Gorin before him. So as a proud immigrant, I celebrate the immigrants in this country, and particularly the ones that led this council. Thank you.
I call upon Councillor Stamp to support the proposal.
Supported.
Thank you. I now call upon the past Mayor, Councillor Nestorov, and the past Mayoress, Councillor Nestorova, to each receive a past mayoral badge. I now call upon the past Mayor to respond to the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was truly an honor. It has been the honor of my life to serve as the mayor of Medway and the first citizen of this great place we call our home. It was also a privilege to serve as deputy mayor to Councillor Nina Gurung last year. Altogether, these 2 years have been truly unforgettable for me. During my time as mayor, I witnessed an incredible amount of love, kindness, and generosity in our communities. There are so many people involved in making our towns better, more welcoming place to live, work, study, and play. I wish I could thank each and every one by name, but that will take hours. It's enough to say that we are incredibly lucky to have such a caring and inspiring community here in Medway. Thank you for what you do, and please keep doing it. Being the mayor is a busy job. Like it was mentioned a few times, over the last year, I attended 405 events and meetings and met thousands of people. When you add the engagements attended by my brilliant Deputy Mayor, Councillor Douglas Hamadishe, we are looking at somewhere between 550 and 600 engagements in total. One thing I can say for certain, being the mayor of Medway is a full-time job with plenty of overtime. One of my biggest personal achievements these last 2 years have been learning to speak in public. I still remember the very first speech I gave. I was so nervous I nearly fainted. But as time went on, I grew more confident. And now, just a couple of weeks ago, I stood in front of more than 5,000 people at the closing of the Sweeps Festival at Rochester Castle and gave a speech that I never thought I'd be able to do. It was a real proud moment for me. Some of my personal highlights from this year include a mix of fun, proud, and unforgettable moments. Going to the King's Garden party last May was a real honor. The Admiral Cruise, obviously an amazing day. I love being part of the amazing events in Medway, from Love Chatham, Chinese New Year, Gillingham Carnival, the Rochester Sweeps Festival, Dickens Festival, Medway Pride, Armed Forces Day, V in Europe Day, 80 years, and D-Day, and so many more. It really showcased how special our community is. I also had the chance to support fellow mayors in their charities across Kent. It was great to visit other places, see what they are doing, and build relationship along the way. And of course, my very own mayoral ball. Despite a moment of panic in March, when we realized that invitations hasn't been sent out, with just 4 weeks to go, we pulled it together. We started selling tickets in mid-March, and within just 8 days, we sold out. In fact, I was told off to stop selling tickets because we exceeded capacity. We had 263 guests, and honestly, I could have easily sold another 100 tickets. That incredible response meant so much for me. It really showed that I have made an impact in Medway, and I felt deeply humbled. People to this day, when they meet me on the street, talk about the ball and how it was one of the best events they've been in years. Beyond the fun, we also raised more than £10,000 for my incredible 2 charities, Medway Culture Club and Nucleus Arts. The exact figure is still being finalized because of council procedures and accounts, but we will know that soon. They let me say that it's definitely more than 10,000. Here I want to take a moment and to thank everyone who helped this happen. To Jane Ridham, Rowena, Taff, Terry, and Wayne, thank you for helping organize the Mayoral Ball and so many other events, and for making sure that I always got to the right place at the right time. I couldn't have done it without you. To Bapinda, Richard, and Wayne again, thank you for keeping our council meetings running smoothly and quietly fixing all the behind-the-scenes problems that we had. Medway Culture Club and Nucleus Arts, thank you for your help throughout the year and for the teamwork. We didn't tick every box we hoped to, but we did make a real difference, and I'm proud of what we've achieved together. To my Labour Party family, thank you for giving me a chance of being the mayor. It was really, truly the honor of my life. To the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Douglas Hamadishe, thank you for your support and hard work this year. Your words of encouragement really mean a lot. Thank you for covering all those events as well. To my mom, thank you for being so amazing and looking after the kids when we were out doing our public duties. To my kids, thank you for being so well behaved and joining me at so many events. I'm really proud of them. And finally, to my wife, Lou, a massive thank you. You've been on my side at every single step of the journey. You supported me with everything, from the big moments to the very smallest detail. I truly couldn't have done this without you. Thank you. This year will stay with me till the rest of my life. I wish the new mayor and deputy mayor the very best for the year ahead. I'm sure you will do a great job serving our community, and I look forward to seeing what you will achieve.
Flowers will now be presented to the outgoing mayoress and the outgoing deputy mayoress. Thank you. And I have pleasure in notifying the Council that I appointed the Reverend Edward Wright as my chaplain. Edward, please accept this scroll of office.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I would now like to introduce Ben Soutal from the Medway Music Association Music Centre, who will perform some music for us. Ben will be accompanied by Peter Bailey, one of Dynamic's licensed music teachers. Thank you. On behalf of us all, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Ben and Peter for their performance, and to thank Derek and the team at the Medway Music Association for organising tonight's performances. Moving now to apologies for absence. Councillor Peake, do you have any apologies for absence for both this meeting and the joint meeting of committees?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. We've got a green light now. And Councillors Marhill. Thank you.
Councillor Kemp?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on your appointment. I have one apology, and that's from Councillor Doe.
Councillor Sands?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and on behalf of our group, congratulations on you and the Deputy Mayor. We have two absences, Councillor Crozier and Councillor Williams.
Councillor Vine?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the new Mayor first, and we have no apologies to anybody missing. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving now to other business before us in this evening. Please may I have any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests or other significant interests from members of the Council for both this meeting and the joint meeting of committees immediately afterwards. Please clearly describe the nature of your interest if you do declare one. Do I have any? Thank you. Mayor's announcements. I have no further announcements for this evening. We move now to the establishment of committees, appointments and the schedule of meetings for 2025 to 2026 on page 7 of the agenda for those following. Please note that Appendices B and C have been published in a supplementary agenda. Councillor Peake, would you like to make the proposal?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And sorry, I didn't mean to say congratulations as well. My fault. Better late than never, eh? Following the last council meeting on the 24th of April, officers have liaised with group wits with proposals to ensure that the allocation of seats on committees are politically balanced in the light of an increase in the size of the Labour and Cooperative group from 29 to 31 seats. This gives the group a clear majority on the council. The outcome of the review is set out in paragraphs 4.4 and 4.5 of the report, with support to reduce the size of some committees, as indicated in the report itself and Appendix A. Alongside this, it is necessary to make some changes to a small number of outside bodies to ensure that the Labour and Cooperative group have a majority on these, reflecting our overall majority on the council. Appendix B and C to the report have been provided in a supplementary agenda. These provide details of memberships on committees, subcommittees and outside bodies, whilst Appendix D sets out the schedule of meetings for next year. Members will note that the report references changing the name of the Rural Liaison Committee to the Rural Liaison Board. This does not devalue the important work of the committee. However, it is important that only those bodies that full council has dedicated functions to can be called committees, in accordance with the law. Therefore, I will propose the recommendations at paragraphs 1.1 and 1.2 of the report on pages 7 and 8 of the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is that supported? Councillor Kemp, do you wish to speak now or reserve the right to speak later?
Reserve the right to speak.
Any member? Come back to you, Councillor Kemp.
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Councillor Peake.
As moved, Mr. Mayor.
Is that agreed, members? Agreed. Thank you very much. Moving on now to item 8. Councillor Maple, would you like to make a proposal?
I will. Thank you very much. And congratulations to you and the Deputy Mayor for your appointments tonight, and a speedy recovery to the Deputy Mayoress. Mayor Clark, it's with real privilege and pleasure that I move the report we have in front of us tonight. The recommendations are laid out in paragraph 1. To save people reading dozens and dozens of pages, in the executive responsibilities for Cabinet, they are as they were with one addition, and I'll be receiving no overtime for this, but to reflect the changing landscape since this meeting last year. I've now got within my portfolio local government reorganisation and devolution. I suspect we will talk more about one than the other this year. Can I take this opportunity to thank my Cabinet colleagues? Obviously, I've had a bit of a reshuffle since this time last year for a very positive reason. So I thank those who are no longer in the Cabinet because they're serving our community up in SW1, and we thank them for the work they're doing there every single day. And I welcome the 3 new Cabinet members who have already hit the ground running and are doing a great job alongside those who I was privileged to appoint 2 years ago. Blimey, doesn't time fly? And I want to pay particular tribute to my friend and deputy leader, as I did in a well-read article earlier this week in Local Authorities Interview. Councillor Murray does a phenomenal job standing up for this community, particularly on that challenging issue of health. We love the NHS, but occasionally there's some challenging conversations to be had. And rest assured that for the 285,000 residents that call this place home, Councillor Murray is fighting that corner every step of the way. I want to take this opportunity to thank Richard Hicks's executive team, often referred to when we work collaboratively as a team of 25. I think that collaborative approach has been beneficial to this council. I think working in any other way would frankly not make sense, but that's how some councils, indeed in some council leaders, have done it in the past, having a team of 1 perhaps rather than a team of 25. That's not how we do it anymore. And can I thank actually all councillors from across the political spectrum. We've had some challenging conversations. We don't always agree, but we normally disagree agreeably, and that's a good thing. And actually, on that most challenging of circumstances, as you referred to in your opening remarks, local government reorganisation, that we've got to ensure, and I'll say a bit more of this in my vote of thanks to staff, we've got to ensure that the services that residents in Medway depend upon today are delivered today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next decade. And of course, with that last one, it may well be that this institution doesn't exist, but those services which are so desperately needed for our residents continue to be there, and we will do everything we can in a collaborative approach wherever practically possible to get the best outcomes for the 1.9 million people of the region of Kent, but particularly the 285,000 people that we all represent in this council chamber. So I'm very, very pleased to be moving this report as laid out, and I hope it receives at least 31 votes, hopefully 59, we will see.
Is that supported? Councillor Murray, do you wish to speak now or reserve the right to speak later?
I'll speak now, please, Mayor Clark, and my congratulations to you and to Deputy Mayor Spring. You've got a hard act to follow, both of you. And my very great thanks to Councillor Nestorov, who, after all, was Deputy Mayor before he was Mayor, and a new councillor at the same time. So I think his achievement is absolutely tremendous. And for Councillor Hamandishe, with health in mind, as someone who works in the mental health sector, the contribution he made to the mayoralty has been incredible. I've been with him at so many events where his experience and kindness and forbearance has really cheered up an awful lot of people. He's been a great deputy, Douglas, and I thank you very much for that. When we saw the by-election results, Mayor Clark, we thought you might throw the towel in, but anyway, our word is our bond. I'm very pleased that we've restored the point system, and we would always do as we say we would do, and I'm sure that you appreciate that. I've seen a fair few mayoral speeches myself, as Kent Online kindly reminded everybody when I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago. This is the 25th one I've heard, so happy silver anniversary to me. And not the look I want, but it's the one I've got. And for you, right up there in the middle of the pack, I'm sure that you'll keep going and do more. Now, on what Vince has said, I want to thank you, Vince, for your tremendous work all through the year, for the support you give to me and to the rest of the Cabinet and to the whole of Labour group, and on behalf of all of those people, and I'm sure other people in the room, thank you. This has been a challenging year, We have won a general election. So in this year, for me, being on a Labour Medway Council with a Labour government is absolutely fantastic and not something that I'd experienced before or indeed anywhere else in the lifetime of Medway Council. So we're all working hard, but you particularly have worked doubly hard, showing that you can be transparent, that people can hear and understand what's happening when something changes, giving people reassurance, determined to protect our staff and do all of the things that we've promised to do, which are, we believe, inherently good for Medway. So it's a busy year with another busy one ahead. My thanks, Richard, to you and to our team of 25. I really think the collaborative way we're working has changed things in the council and will continue to do so. And on appointments, I think it's really important for me to mention Councillor Brake, actually. Councillor Brake has been the partner governor for the council at Medway Hospital for 12 years. I think the longest serving partner governor ever. I thank you for all the things that you've done, and I know at the hospital, as I step into that role, everyone has told me you have been the most prolific recruiter to the trust. You've very kindly attended all of their special events, as well as doing your governor duties. So for that, I thank you and look forward to the things that I would do there, but with what is, as a governor, I think, a great legacy from you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Councillor
much.
Murray. Any member?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and can I also congratulate you on becoming the Mayor of Medway and, as I referenced earlier, congratulate Councillor Spring on becoming the Deputy Mayor. I know you're going to do a fantastic job in representing the people of Medway, but also holding up the office with high integrity. And I know on behalf of the entire group, we're exceptionally proud of the two of you this evening. I couldn't be more pleased, Mr. Mayor, to be able to call you Mr. Mayor for the first time in a council meeting. Can I also thank the leader for setting out the executive responsibilities for the forthcoming 12 months. And I think, first I just wanted to continue actually what Councillor Murray was saying about Councillor Brake and for all the work that he's done actually at Medway NHS Foundation Trust as a partner governor. Completely second and happy to support that. And congratulate her on her 25-year anniversary at the council. I did listen to the Kent podcast, which I can see Robert Boddy sitting at the back, Mr. Mayor, and I do always enjoy listening to people from across the chamber contributing to that. And I can guarantee we won't be throwing the towel into the Deputy Leader as well. I absolutely can guarantee that. I met yesterday in Parliament with a senior team from the Leader of the Opposition's office and also with our Shadow Secretary of State to update him on all things Medway, coming to the point on local government reorganisation, and a really positive meeting for me to be able to discuss that with senior people within His Majesty's official opposition. But actually for me, a particular importance on the talk of team is actually to always highlight the work of my fantastic team that sit to my left here, my Deputy Leader, Councillor Hackwell, but also my Shadow Cabinet, who work really hard day in, day out with me in terms of driving the change that we are within the opposition, but also ensuring that we hold the administration to account. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful and fortunate to work with these brilliant people every single day. And also work on a cross-party basis with members of the Cabinet and the Leader where appropriate. So thank you very much to the Leader for setting out the executive responsibilities, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other member? Come back to Councillor Maple.
Thank you, Mayor Clark, and thanks to both my fantastic Deputy Leader and indeed the Leader of the Opposition for their contributions. And I would wholeheartedly echo the comments around Councillor Brake's service on the Trust. I think it's been an important role, and I thank you, and I know the hospital absolutely values that as well. We live in interesting times, and I reflect back on your by-election success all those years ago, and of course we should never forget, in a bizarre way, you probably wouldn't be Mayor of Medway if it wasn't for Owen Jones. There's a sentence that I thought I'd never say, but we have to remember that. And of course, yeah, we live in interesting times. I wish it could be a bit less interesting sometimes. So welcome, actually, the scrutiny from all three political groups in opposition now. This administration has never been more transparent, whether it's Medway Matters Live, whether it's our Medway Live, holding ourselves accountable to hard-working staff, and we'll talk more about those in a moment, whether it is 1 Minute Medway, whether it is the ability for people to ask questions at cabinet meetings. We are available for scrutiny. Does it mean we'll get everything right every single time? No, because we're human. And actually humans make mistakes. And that's okay. If we keep making the same mistake, that's when the problem lies. But, you know, we've got to recognise that in human life that will happen. So from my perspective, I recognise the challenges we have ahead. I've got a fantastic team as a cabinet. I've got a fantastic team of overview and scrutiny chairs and vice chairs. I've got a fantastic team of committee chairs who are making sure things like the quasi-judicial processes are carried out properly, that we're audited, pay attention. Councils do audits. You don't need to bring audits in. We have excellent cross-party audit committee happening. We have excellent external auditors. If anybody wants to pick up the phone, I'm very happy to chat to them about that. And actually, for all of the team here who don't necessarily have executive roles, but are the voice for the community, standing up for their residents, making sure when the system doesn't quite work perfectly, that there's a way for them to have their voice heard. So, Mayor Clark, very happy to move that, and hopefully that will be supported. Thank you.
Is that agreed, members? Thank you. Finally, moving on to item 9, I call upon the Leader of the Council, Councillor Maple again, to propose a vote of thanks to the staff.
Thank you, Mayor Clark, and as always, a real privilege to be able to deliver this speech. And you know it's a quick night when I haven't even finished my first can of Vimto, so we're doing all right there. 22 years ago today, Medway Council passed its local plan. There's been a lot of time since then. And we know as we move into the next municipal year, in fact, the next council meeting in this very room, we will hopefully be moving one step closer to making sure we're not celebrating a 25th or 26th anniversary of the most recent local plan. And I raise that because that's one of those prime examples where the hard-working staff of Medway are diligently dealing with changes in government, dealing with changes in legislation, dealing with the pressures, dealing with sometimes going through a process and then having to go through it again. Our staff are amazing and resilient. And whether it's the local plan, whether it's delivering outstanding events like we saw just last couple of weeks with VE Day, 80, and with sweeps, whether it is ensuring that those day-to-day services which are valued by residents across the community continue to be delivered at a high standard, whether it's being ready for inspections. And we've seen new inspections in the last 12 months, both in adult social care and in housing. And time again, our brilliant staff step up. And for me, it's about saying, delivering those services, making sure you have that high quality of service, making sure that even with the financial challenges as we work through the FIT plan, we're continuing to deliver those. It really does make the message very loud and clear that Medway's for everyone. Medway is for everyone. So from that perspective, the services that are delivered ensure that can happen. The accessibility of this council to raise itself to the challenge from cradle to grave, from child-friendly Medway to adult social care for some of our most elderly residents and everything else in between. We are there for everyone. And whether you are born and raised in Medway or an immigrant like me and you, Mayor Clark, although you're from the wrong side of the river, I'm obliged to say, or whether you are from much, much further afield, Medway is for everyone. So, Chief Executive, please, on behalf of the administration, and I'm sure that will be supported on behalf of all councillors by the Leader of the Opposition, pass on our thanks to making sure that this council, in the services it delivers, in its ways of delivering those services, in recognising the changing, challenging climates that local government, particularly with local government reorganisation, finds itself in. Every single day, every single hour of every single day, they're delivering to ensure Medway is for everyone. Thank you, Mayor Clark.
Thank you, Councillor Maple. I call upon Councillor Perfect to support the proposal on behalf of all opposition councillors.
There we go. Thank you, Mr Mayor. And yes, indeed, as Leader of the Opposition, I'm pleased to second the vote of thanks to staff on behalf of all opposition groups. Mr Mayor, I would like to associate myself with the words of the Leader of the Council, particularly around the hard work of officers over the past 12 months. And a difficult 12 months it has been for local government, with plenty of uncertainty, whether it be local government reorganisation and devolution, as highlighted by the Leader, the local plan, which the Leader has referenced, will be coming forward shortly, and indeed other services around the Council, delivering day-to-day services for our residents. Our officers are at the core of this Council, delivering services day in and day out, often under huge pressure and facing challenges, but deliver they do. Whether it be the staff that support us in members and democratic services, our frontline services staff and the child-friendly Medway team, or indeed our social workers, to name just a few teams, they deliver. Local government reorganisation is something unnerving and unsettling for staff, but our staff should be reassured on a cross-party basis within this Council they're at the core of our conversation on the future of this organisation too. On behalf of the Conservative Group and all opposition groups, I'm pleased to second this vote of thanks to our staff through you, Mr Chief Executive, and I'm pleased to second the proposal made by the Leader. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Perfect. Is the proposal agreed? Agreed. Chief Executive, would you like to respond?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you, members, for your appreciation for our committed and dedicated staff. We are blessed with talented teams right the way across the Council who are prepared to go that extra mile every single day. And so your recognition and your support is greatly appreciated. And I know that support and that recognition from you all is heartfelt, and I know it is genuine because I hear it almost every single day. You will regularly feed back to me on the excellence of our staff because there is so much to be proud of. And we strive to be an employer of choice. And your recognition of staff, your actions, your support for our staff, your respect for the role that our staff play is absolutely testament to that ambition. And Mr Mayor, if I can, I would like to pay tribute to your selfless service to the people and place of Medway. You are passionate community champions, and I've seen at first hand just how hard you work and how seriously you take your roles as community champions, as representing your communities, and playing a part where you are representing their voice into the Council. So I want to thank you for the role that you play. And Mr Mayor, I have great confidence for the future. I know that by working together as members and officers, each of us fulfilling our respective roles as one team, as one Medway, whatever those challenges we are confronted by, I am confident we will overcome them. And I know, working together, we will help to make Medway an even better place to live, to work, to learn, and to visit. Thank you, members, and thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Chief Executive, and we take it you will convey our thanks to your staff. Really. Please clarify, Councillor Pearce.
Could I have it explained why the leader of the independent group, or deputy leader, and also the smaller groups couldn't speak on the vote of thanks, please?
Thank you. Legal Officer, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As members will be aware, the conduct of this meeting is dictated to by the Mayor, and the interpretation of the rules is a matter for the Mayor. Discussions outside the chamber had been held, and it had been agreed that there would be limited speakers to all matters this evening, and on that basis limited members were invited to speak, and the final decision, irrespective of whoever indicates that whether to speak or not, is a matter for the Mayor, and that cannot be challenged. So the Mayor chose to call limited speakers as agreed. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. There being no further business, I declare this annual meeting of the Council closed. Please would everyone stand while the mace is tilted, and then will you take your seats for a very brief joint meeting of committees. Thank you. So you sit, ladies and gentlemen. We now move on to the joint meeting of committees. Is it agreed that I chair this meeting? Agreed. Is it also agreed that I sign the minutes outside of this meeting? Agreed. I will move the recommendations as set out in item 4 of the joint meeting of the committee's agenda before you, relating to the appointment of chairperson and vice chairman of committees, excluding the Health and Wellbeing Board. I will also move the recommendations as set out in agenda item 5 of the joint meeting of committees agenda, relating to the establishment, allocation of seats to political groups and membership of subcommittees, including the requirement to weigh political balance in respect of licensing hearing panels and Licensing 1982 Act hearing panels, and the process for the selection of these panels as indicated on page 9 of the supplementary agenda papers. Is this supported? Agreed. Is that agreed, everyone? Councillor Pearce.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, I do apologise, but I do need to make this point. The Mayor could have emailed the smaller groups to ask them, to advise them about what you were intending to do today, which would have been very helpful. So if you haven't done so,
thank you, Councillor Pearce, for your comment.
If you have, can you please?
Thank you. Thank you, members. We did agree, did we? We agreed. We did agree. Thank you very much, really. Members, thank you very much. This has been the first meeting for Councillor Spring and myself up here. If anyone's wondering, are these robes hot? They are very, very hot. And possibly for a first for one of our council meetings, thanks to Councillor Spring's office in India, we have been live streaming across the Indian subcontinent. I said those viewing figures would be particularly high. And may, on behalf of you members, may I thank our cadets. Again, I mean, I find this nerve-wracking, but we do appreciate the service that you perform here. Thank you very much. And finally, before we all go, please help yourself to a glass of wine or a soft drink, really. A cupcake with a nice blue flag on it for you, Councillor Maple. And also, could I just please ask you to just take a moment just to speak with the representatives of our charities who've been with us the whole meeting tonight, Marty and Tom from Caring Hands, and also Laura and Bonnie from Slide Away. There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed. Please stand to sing the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing while the Mayor and Deputy Mayor leave the meeting.